Very exciting. The time of year is changing. The weather's nice. The new vegetables are starting to come in. Our looks are changing. Your food should look like it's changing too. We're getting away from the stews and the braising and all that. We're going to get into more of the barbecues, the outdoor grills, and the nice vegetables. Today we're doing Chinese pork and a homemade fried rice. So we decided to go with a pork tenderloin, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a homemade barbecue sauce, a Chinese barbecue sauce, because that canned stuff's for assholes. So, see what I did there? We picked up the tenderloin, pork tenderloin, and the great thing about that is it's a relatively inexpensive cut of meat. It's not too bad. You'll spend anywhere between $3 and $5 for this piece right here, and that'll feed 3 or 4 people with what we're going to do. Then, and another good thing about it too is it doesn't have a whole lot of trim work to it. They clean it up pretty good for you in the market. So we do have to take this little piece of membrane off here, which I'll do real quick right now. But one of the reasons why we chose this is because it's nice, because once you marinate it and you brush the barbecue sauce on it, it will roast up relatively quick as well. So it's again, it's all about. You could do this on the grill, or you could do it. We're gonna actually sear it and then roast it in the oven, but this would be nice on the grill as well. So that's really it. You want to take that piece off, and we'll set this meat aside now, and we're gonna get right into the barbecue sauce. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with, and this has a lot of ingredients, but I'll go through it step by step with you so we're clear as to what we're doing here. All right, we're gonna start with soy sauce. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of good quality soy sauce, your favorite. And it doesn't have to be low sodium, but if you're looking for health conscious, it's not a bad idea. But go with about 2 tablespoons of good quality soy. Then I'm going to do, let's see, I've got 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to put that right in there. 1 clove of minced garlic, throw that right in there. Sherry, I got about a tablespoon of sherry. You can use Marsala, another kind of sweet wine. You can even get the garbage cooking version in the supermarkets if you have to. But I would prefer just to get a nice good wine. And just a little bit in there. And you'll see that would make a difference, because if you don't have it, it definitely makes a difference when you put it in there. Let's see, 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Hoisin sauce, we're going to go with 3 tablespoons of hoisin sauce, and I'm going to use the measuring tool of the ages. There we go. 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons of honey. I know this is turning out to be pretty sweet, literally. 3 tablespoons of honey. A little bit more. Then I've got the last 2 ingredients. I've got 3 ingredients left. Last 3 ingredients. This is a smoked paprika, and this is it's a little bit pricey. You can go with regular paprika. This is really to bring the red flavor, the red color out in the barbecue sauce. But the smoked level is going to add another dimension to that barbecue that we're doing. A lot of people, like in Chinese restaurants and stuff, they'll use red food coloring. You can certainly do that, but I like this better because it actually adds something else to the sauce. So that's why. And I go pretty liberal with this. Oh, you can smell that smoke right away. I put maybe about 3/4 of a teaspoon in there. And then the last 2 ingredients are Chinese 5-spice. And what this is a blend that you can buy already made, and it has cinnamon, star anise, cloves, ginger, and regular anise. I don't know what the difference between star anise and regular anise is, but it's got a very aromatic fragrance to it. Bob said it smells like wintertime because it does have kind of a nutmeggy flavor, but you got to be careful with this because it's really strong. So we're going to add about just about a quarter of a teaspoon of that 5-spice to that. And that's Chinese 5-spice is the name of it. Most big manufacturers make it. And of course, the last thing we're going to do is add just a little heavy pinch of the edge, a little bit more than a pinch. And then we'll mix this all together. Oh yeah. This is better than anything you can get in a jar, trust me. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and fire up the pan. We're going to bring our pan over to get that sear on it. We're going to brush it with the barbecue and reserve some of that sauce for later on too, and you'll see why. But let's get the pork started and get that seared up. So I've got a pan here that I've got about a tablespoon of olive oil in, and we're going to get this preheated. And you want to use a pan that you can put right into the oven, so make sure you don't have any plastic handled pans or anything like that that might cause problems in the oven later. So what we're going to do first, like I said, we're going to sear that pork, and then we're going to finish it in the oven. We're just going to leave it right in this pan. So we're going to take our pork, and I'm actually going to put a little bit of that barbecue sauce right on it. While we're putting a nice crusty sear on this meat, let's talk a little bit about the music. You're listening to Cold Sweat by Saline. And it's off their EP Blackout, which is also available on iTunes and Amazon if you're interested in checking that out. Also, a couple of ways to show them some love. Go to their Facebook fan page, facebook.com/salineband, or you can jump and check on their Kickstarter program. They're trying to raise a little bit of money for their full-length release, so you can always go there and make a donation and show them some love. So here we go. Now the searing on this is perfect. So we're going to go ahead and just flip this. Now we don't want to add any more barbecue sauce because I made the mistake of pouring a little more barbecue sauce over it, and it really got burnt pretty bad. So we're just going to leave it just like this. You don't even have to really sear it on the other side too much because it's going to finish searing with the hot pan. Just be careful, the handle might be hot. Now we're going to pop this into the oven at 350 degrees for probably about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Until the inside, the thickest part of the inside of the pork is 155 for you technical people who use actual thermometers. So we'll pop this in the oven and we'll get right into the rice. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up a pan and we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to it, because what we're going to do is we're going to scramble up a couple of eggs ahead of time just for our garnish. So get that in there. And you just want to cook them up real fast, and then you're going to set them up to the side. This is one of those garnishes that we're going to add at the very end when the rice is all fried and all the flavors are in there and all the veggies and everything are in there. We're just going to kind of add this in at the end for texture, color, and a little bit more flavor. So we just want to give them a quick scramble. And they don't even have to be hard. They can still be pretty soft. And then we'll set those aside. And we'll add that to the rice after. Then we want to get our other pan going for our fried rice. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take that olive oil, that same olive oil again. We're going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil. And we're going to take about a tablespoon of sesame oil. Now, if you haven't watched the pad thai episode that we did earlier, that was last season, wasn't it, Bob? I think it was last season. We talked a little bit about the smoke point of oils. The reason why I combined the two is because the sesame oil has a terrible smoke point, which means when heat hits it, it burns fast. Whereas olive oil has a really strong smoke point, which means it can stand up to heat. But so I mixed the two together so you have the best of both worlds. You've got the flavor from the sesame oil, and you've got the tolerance level of the olives. So that's why it makes a nice match. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some aromatics to this. And aromatics are, if you remember, the scallions. We're going to add about a tablespoon and a half of scallions. We're going to add some white onion, about a teaspoon of white onion. I've got some fresh minced ginger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about a teaspoon of that, and a teaspoon or 1 clove of fresh minced garlic. Oh, the smells coming out of this thing already are out of control. This is what it's all about right here. That's why they call it aromatics, because you're eating with your nose right now. Holy smokes. So, all right, so I got those sauteed up a little. Now we'll add some of the rest of our vegetables here, the raw vegetables anyway. And I've got some nice cremini mushrooms, my favorite kind, nice earthy mushroom. And then I've got a little bit of pork off to the side from the pork roast. Now, you can wait until the pork roast is done and trim some off yourself, or you can do like what we do, cook one ahead, so we have it ready for you, so you don't have to wait all day for us. And just take a little bit off the side and just chop it up and throw it right in there, because it's going to be a pork fried rice. So we'll add that pork right in there, because we want that to brown up a little more and get some of those flavor bits in there. So let's saute some of these veggies up a little bit here. Now, I've got about 2 cups of cooked white rice, the regular, your standard converted rice. I've got it cooked up ahead, fully cooked just in water. And you can add, now to this pan here with the amount of ingredients we add, I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of rice. And that's about right there. And you hear how it sounds like it's sticking and crispy, and that's kind of what you want with fried rice, because you want to have a little bit of texture on it as well. So, oh man, the smells are out of control. I am starving for this right now. Okay, now let's build the sauce out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some soy sauce, and I'm going to add probably about 3 tablespoons of soy sauce to that. tonight. Show prep. Fire that soft poison. I've got some oyster sauce here that's not ready to open, but it is now. We're going to add about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. There we go. And that's readily available on your Asian market shelves in the supermarket, you know, the Asian aisle. And then I've got the last two ingredients that we're going to add for color and flavor. Oh yeah. I've got the peas. I'm going to add those at the end. And those are just regular frozen peas. And I've got the eggs that we're also going to add. Now, the great thing about fried rice, and I'm finding myself doing more and more of these dishes where you can add really whatever vegetables you want. Like now that we're in the right season, you can add mung bean sprouts to it. You can add some asparagus tips to it. Some fresh spinach. Oh man, look at that. Would you, are you getting this? Holy smokes. Now, I've got the edge on standby, but just be careful because we added a lot of ingredients already. That's fantastic. That have high sodium content, so you want to be very, very careful. Let's add those eggs. And you know what I'm going to add? Just for giggles. There's a little bit of that Chinese pork barbecue sauce that we reserved on the side. Get that right in there. And then let's stir fry this up a little bit more. Oh yeah. Sticking is okay, you just got to kind of keep it moving. Now remember, because we've got a lot of saucy, syrupy stuff in there. That's kind of what fried rice is all about. Keep it moving so it doesn't burn. We're just about there now. So now what we're going to do is we'll shut this off, we'll take our pork out, and we'll dish out. Alright, so we've got our pork tenderloin, and we're going to take it out here, and we're going to go ahead and start to slice it up. Just slice it right on the, oh look at that. Just slice it right at an angle. And it's going to be a little messy because of that barbecue sauce on there, but that's okay. And that's a good portion right there. Get one more, because Bob gets the show plate all the time, so we'll make sure we take care of him. And see what I mean? You get probably 3 portions out of this, okay? So let's put this pork loin back in here, and we'll set this aside. Now we'll bring the plate over, and we'll dish out our rice. The rice right in the middle of the plate. Look at all those colors. Oh, and smells. Holy smokes. See, and you don't have any of that funny red color in there. You know, the fake looking color? You don't have any of that in here because that's all natural. Now, we'll take our pork, lay that right over the top. Look, that's cooked perfect too. See, I like it just a little bit pink. The government says I can have it that way now, so that's okay. So there we go. And then the finishing touch on that is going to be just a little bit more of that Chinese barbecue sauce right over the top. And if you don't like this, then you're an asshole. 2 times in 1 episode. So there it is. Now we'll get right into the wine. Let's talk about what we're doing today for wine. So the wine we decided to go with in this episode is the Bogle Vineyards 2010 Riesling. And the main reason why we chose this one is it's a big, bold flavored apple wine. It comes with big apples come through on it, and it's also got a nice essence of lime zest, which is nice. We all know how well apples go with port, and the lime citrus comes across real nice with the stir fry. But also because it's a full flavored and it's not too sweet wine, which is good because you've got a lot of sweetness going on in the barbecue. So we decided to choose this one because it pairs really well with this. So that being said, we want to thank you for joining us on our magic, madness, and mayhem. We'll see you next time.